if we started to look at our intersocietal processes this way, are we talking world peace? What is obviously some of the benefits of this are obvious, but maybe you could just talk just for a moment about where you see this being applied to the problems in our world today.
So I am a big fan of Jeremy Lent. I don't know if you've come across his work. He wrote a book called The Patterning Instinct and then The Harmonious Web of Life, his second work, more recent work. In it, he describes crudely Eastern versus Western worldviews, right? So Eastern worldviews, apologies to Eastern worldview holders, right? But I'm going to butcher it somewhat. That's an unfortunate phrase. It's basically, everything's connected. We're all part of a harmonious web of life. Love is the way. Let's just learn to get along. My vibration sets up resonances in the rest of the network, and the rest of the network modifies my vibration. It's all a harmonious web of life, right? And we're all playing a humble role within the harmonious web of life. Love is the way. And I'm saying it in that somewhat patronizing tone because that whole view of the world, that worldview, is completely thrown out by the Western worldview. The Western worldview is based on survival of the fittest. Now, selfishness in human culture existed long before Darwin came up with the theory of evolution by natural selection, of course. So you could argue about whether survival of the fittest came from that worldview or that worldview is supported by survival of the fittest. But they are nonetheless congruent with the Western worldview that selfishness is right, might is right, whoever's the most powerful is justified in doing whatever they can do with that power. Growth is the way in which everything improves. If I grow faster than you and that outcompetes you and takes away your resources, that's all great. Anyone else and everything else is a commodity just to be exploited and consumed.
But those aren't really at the core of Western spirituality, right? I mean, if you look at Christianity, which is arguably the most popular religion on the planet, certainly the Western popular religion, it's rooted in the idea of loving your neighbors and the golden rule and all of this. And honestly, if you look at this sort of Machiavellian picture you're painting, you find it in the East just as much. As I'm thinking of all the way back to Genghis Khan and the rape of Nanking and there's all sorts of terrible selfish behavior in the East as much as in the West. And the spiritualities really do converge. They're of course corrupted, but they do converge on this idea that we should be taking care of one another. And so I understand you're summarizing this gentleman's perspective.
But that's a particular dominant kind of Western spirituality rather than what I was trying to describe as a Western worldview, right? So that spirituality is conjured up as a ethos by which we should rise above what's natural, right? The natural way of the world is selfishness and short-centered and short-sighted and self-centered. But in order to combat that, we special humans should somehow rise above that and do something different. Right?
Well, I think
by sheer virtue of our will.
I think that there is actually a great division here, but it lies, the way that I see it, along the divisions of spirituality versus dominance or power, right? Because the spiritual perspective is one which seeks to understand this resonant connection between forms.
Yeah.
And then there's the other form, which is the power-seeking form, which is the form that seeks to dominate and to say, no, I will not be informed by the vibration. I will set the vibration.